Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Richard. I wanted to make a video about a theory that many people have speculated about, which is Airbnb going public on the stock market here in the United States in 2019. I think there's been a lot of rumors and innuendo, and I think it's likely, and obviously that's their exit strategy. So if they don't do it in 2019, they'll probably do it in 2020. And the only reason they wouldn't do it, I don't think, in 2019 is we've experienced a ton of volatility in the stock market of late. That's generally not a great time to go public. So if the markets stabilize and their forecasts work out okay, 2019 is probably a good time for them to go public, but they may push it if there's more increased volatility. I filmed a video in the past about sort of what I thought was happening. Almost all indices are at all-time highs. However, if you dig beneath that, it's a little bit misleading. The breadth is actually very thin. We're starting to see these leaders hiccup, pause, and maybe even roll over. And I'm not predicting that we're going to have a crash. I'm not predicting that the stock market's going to be a bad investment. I'm not predicting that this can't go on for another 10 years. I'm just saying, from where I sit, I like to learn from prior history. We've all heard that adage about history repeating itself. And as much as we all think that this time is different, I'm a firm believer that this time is not different. Therefore, I think that the better bet is to bet on things normalizing, reverting to the mean, going back to a broader market, market that's led by many different sectors and industries as opposed to just technology. And I think that the likelihood that the stock market is down, say, 10% before it's up 10%, that would be a bet that I'd be willing to make. I used to run a $4 billion portfolio of alternative assets for a hedge fund. So following stock market and equity markets and IPOs and so on is something that I've done for a long period of time. So that doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that I have some experience in it. And I just want to caveat that. And I hate to say that a lot of the things that I thought were going to happen are happening right now. It's really uncomfortable. A lot of people are losing a lot of money, myself included. So I'm not like relishing in that, being correct. In fact, I wish I was wrong, to be perfectly honest. But nonetheless, Airbnb is likely going to go public in 2019. And so the question that we should have as hosts, how does that impact us? If Airbnb is a public company, what do hosts bring to their equation? How important are hosts in their formula? What is the public going to get when they announce earnings in terms of commentary? And how does the host equation fit into that? If they do in fact go public, then I think the hosts become a really important part, because without hosts, they have no inventory, they can generate no revenue. That said, hosting is incredibly popular right now and it's growing really quickly. There's more and more hosts coming online, more and more hosts are having multiple properties. So while we may feel special and important in this process, I think we just become sort of an input into the larger public machine. Doesn't mean that we don't carry any importance. We are very important, but we're indistinguishable, right? We become more of like a number. And speaking of numbers, what going public means to Airbnb and to investors, numbers become much more important. Wall Street is very focused on quarterly growth, on quarterly metrics, on quarterly earnings, and they manage those earnings just like every other public company does. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that if they were waiving any host fees, or if there was ever any disputes and they were waiving fees, which has never happened to me, but if they ever had any discretion in fees, their balance of power may shift. They may be more inclined to keep the fees versus waive them. Likewise, as fees become more important and they need to show sustainable growth and earning growth quarter over quarter, the one way to do that, if you're not growing your community and bringing more hosts and more guests on, let's say we reach a plateau and we start to stall, there's one thing that they can do. I've suggested they would do this in the past. They haven't really done it. They've experimented with it. Raise fees. Now, today Airbnb is a terrific value, and I've made a video about how I could never do marketing on my own and process credit cards and all these other things that Airbnb facilitates, takes bookings and websites and marketing and SEO. And I mean, it's a fantastic value at today's rates. If they go up a little, it's still a great value. If they go up a little more, it's a okay value. If they go up even higher, it becomes less of a value. And there is a choke point where it's no longer a good deal. Now, Charles and I earlier just filmed a video about what I'm doing about that. It wasn't fee related, it was sort of opportunistic, but I encourage you to watch that video about taking the control and the ownership and accountability into your own hands. And if I'm right that Airbnb goes public in 2019, and if I'm right that maybe in 2019 or 2020 or 2021 they start to raise their fees, you've got 2 years or 3 years under your belt following your own business and entrepreneurial model, so that you're not reliant on Airbnb and you're not getting choked as prices go up or fees go up. I don't think they're doing it to be mean, but that's what generally happens. Companies go public, investors expect a lot, investors are investing in a high growth business. If there's not high growth, they can charge more fees to generate higher growth. So I don't know, time will tell if we're right, but it's a speculation on my part. I wanted to put the prediction down on video, share it with you. Why? Not to be proven right or wrong, but to encourage you to start taking action now, because you can never act too early, but you can definitely act too late. Once the rates go up, if I'm right, it's too late to take matters into your own hands because you've never built a following or a business. You haven't really embraced the entrepreneurial concept until it's too late. And then there's a million people trying to do the same thing. So get out ahead of it now and be early if you think I'm right. Let me know if you think I'm right. Let me know when you think Airbnb will go public. Let me know what influence you think it'll have on us hosts on Airbnb platform. What happens if they go public? Let us know. Please go ahead and like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel, my friends. Thanks so very much.